Some pickup trucks were built to haul heavy loads, push through mud, and work hard. Others seem to have come out of a meeting where nobody had the nerve to say, maybe this is not such a good idea. But what happens when an automaker mixes a sedan with a truck bed, luxury with uselessness, or performance with a body style that makes almost no sense? The result can be expensive, strange, and impossible to ignore. We are going to look at 10 pickup trucks that challenged common sense, confused buyers, and proved that even the biggest automakers in the world can get carried away with creativity. Get ready, because we are starting with a truck that is merely unusual. By the end, we will reach one so absurd that it seems to have been built for one purpose only: getting attention. Subaru Baja. The Subaru Baja was a difficult vehicle to explain from the beginning. Launched in 2002 as a 2003 model, it combined elements of the station wagon, sedan, SUV, and pickup truck, using the Subaru Legacy Outback platform to create something meant to appeal to several different types of buyers at once. Under the hood, early versions used a 2.5-liter flat four-cylinder engine with about 165 horsepower. A turbocharged version arrived later, producing approximately 210 horsepower and around 235 pound-feet of torque. Buyers could choose between a 5-speed manual transmission and a 4-speed automatic, both paired with all-wheel drive. Its fully independent suspension made the Baja comfortable and stable, but it also made it feel much more like a passenger car than a traditional work truck. The biggest problem was the tiny bed, light tools, and recreational gear, but its carrying ability was far below that of a conventional pickup. To create more space, Subaru added a pass-through behind the rear seats, allowing longer objects to extend into the cabin. The Baja also divided opinions visually. Its plastic body cladding, stretched profile, and chopped rear section made it look like a station wagon that had been converted into a pickup halfway through the design process. Subaru expected to sell around 24,000 units per year, but demand was so weak that the company had to lower its expectations dramatically. Commercially, the Baja became a major disappointment, and production ended in 2006. Today, the Baja has a loyal fan base, and clean examples are beginning to attract collectors. Even so, its legacy still comes down to one simple question: who really needed a vehicle that tried to be 4 different things at the same time? And if that confusing combination was already difficult to sell, the next truck tried to use German luxury to turn a familiar pickup into a premium status symbol. Mercedes-Benz X-Class. When Mercedes-Benz entered the midsize pickup market, it tried to turn the Nissan Navara into a luxury product. Launched in 2017, the X-Class received unique styling, a more upscale interior, and a large 3-pointed star placed prominently in the grille. Entry-level versions used 2.3-liter 4-cylinder diesel engines, producing between 163 and 190 horsepower. At the top of the lineup, the X350D featured a 3.0-liter V6 diesel with 258 horsepower and around 406 pound-feet of torque. With the V6, it could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 7.7 seconds and reach a top speed of about 127 miles per hour. It used a 7-speed automatic transmission, while some lower trims were also available with a 6-speed manual. The X-Class could be rear-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive. Its coil spring rear suspension improved ride comfort, while still allowing it to tow around 7,700 pounds and carry roughly 1 ton of payload. Inside, Mercedes added better materials, more refined seats, and familiar styling touches from the brand. Even so, many switches, proportions, and mechanical details still revealed the truck's close connection to the Nissan Navara. The high price became its biggest problem. To many buyers, the X-Class looked like an expensive Nissan with a Mercedes badge on the grille, not a truly exclusive pickup developed from the ground up. Sales fell below expectations, and production ended in 2020, only about 3 years after launch. It had power, comfort, and useful capability, but it could not fully justify its price or hide its origins. The next pickup took creativity even further, by placing seats in the bed to work around an American import rule. Subaru Brat. Launched in 1977, the Subaru Brat was a small Japanese pickup based on a passenger car and created mainly for the United States market. Compact, lightweight, and equipped with selectable four-wheel drive, it offered useful traction on dirt roads, snow-covered streets, and rural trails. During its production run, it used 1.6-liter and 1.8-liter flat four-cylinder engines. Depending on the year and version, output ranged from roughly 67 to 94 horsepower, including a rare turbocharged model. Transmission choices included 4-speed and 5-speed manuals, while some versions received a 3-speed automatic. Independent suspension helped ride comfort, and the Brat's small size made it practical for farms, small properties, and city driving. But the detail that made this truck famous was the pair of plastic rear-facing seats mounted directly in the bed. Each seat had side-mounted grab handles, so passengers could hold on while riding completely exposed to the wind, rain, and road. Those seats were not added just for entertainment. They helped classify the Brat as a passenger vehicle in the United States, reducing the effect of import taxes placed on foreign pickup trucks. In practice, that meant carrying two people backward in the bed, almost directly over the rear axle, with no protection from a passenger cabin. It sounds hard to believe today, but Subaru officially sold it that way for years. The Brat eventually became rare, entertaining, and highly desirable among collectors. Examples that still have the original bed-mounted seats are especially valuable because they preserve the strangest part of the entire design. Enjoying this lineup of pickup trucks that challenged common sense? Then hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next stories about vehicles that are almost too strange to believe. And if carrying passengers backward in the bed already sounds ridiculous, the next pickup decided it did not need a roof either. Dodge Dakota convertible. In the late 1980s, Dodge decided to build something almost nobody had requested: a factory-made mid-size convertible pickup. Launched in 1989 in the United States, the Dakota convertible had most of its roof removed and replaced with a folding soft top. The best-known version used a 3.9-liter, 239 cubic inch V6, producing around 125 horsepower. Some trucks were also offered with a 4-cylinder engine, which was even less impressive for a pickup of this size. Buyers could choose between a 5-speed manual and a 4-speed automatic transmission. Rear-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive versions were available, which was especially unusual for an open-top vehicle at the time. The front suspension was independent, while the rear used a solid axle with leaf springs. Because removing the roof weakened the body structure, the truck needed additional reinforcement, adding weight and reducing rigidity compared with a normal Dakota. Visually, it looked like a regular pickup that had lost half its roof. With the top folded down, it delivered an open-air driving experience, but it also brought more noise, vibration, and less protection from bad weather. In practice, it was not as solid as a normal pickup, and not as sporty as a true convertible. It tried to handle work during the week and recreation on the weekend, but compromised both roles. Production numbers were low, and today the Dakota convertible is rare and interesting to collectors. Even so, it still feels like a clever answer to a question almost nobody asked. And if removing the roof from a pickup already seems like a strange decision, the next truck added more size, more weight, and more aggression, while offering a surprisingly small bed. Hummer H2 SUT. In 2004, Hummer decided to turn the massive H2 into a pickup truck. The result was the H2 SUT, built in the United States with military-inspired styling, exaggerated dimensions, and enough road presence to make almost any parking space feel too small. Early versions used a 6.0-liter, 364 cubic inch V8, producing around 325 horsepower. Later models received a 6.2-liter, 378 cubic inch V8 with approximately 393 horsepower and nearly 415 pound-feet of torque. The transmission was automatic, first with 4 speeds and later with 6. Full-time 4-wheel drive, low-range gearing, and a locking rear differential gave the H2 SUT legitimate capability on difficult terrain. Even with all that power, a curb weight of more than 6,400 pounds hurt both performance and fuel economy. Acceleration from 0 to 60 miles per hour took close to 10 seconds, while top speed was around 100 miles per hour. From the outside, it looked enormous, wide, and intimidating. Inside, The high seating position created a sense of command, but visibility around the vehicle was poor, especially along the sides and rear. The biggest contradiction was the bed. It was so short that many common recreational items would not fit with the tailgate closed. A mid-gate system allowed the load floor to extend into the cabin, but only after sacrificing the rear seats. Road tests at the time repeatedly pointed out the same problem. The H2 SUT looked gigantic, consumed large amounts of fuel, and took up plenty of space, yet carried relatively little cargo for a truck of its size. In the end, it worked better as a status symbol and recreational vehicle than as a serious work truck. And if a huge pickup with a tiny bed already seems illogical, the next machine was created from one of Germany's most respected performance cars. BMW M3 pickup. In 2011, BMW's performance division revealed one of the most unlikely pickup trucks the company had ever built. The project began with an M3 convertible, which had its rear bodywork transformed into a truck bed so it could serve as an internal support vehicle in Germany. Under the hood was a 4.0-liter V8, producing 420 horsepower and around 295 pound-feet of torque. It was exactly the kind of engine nobody expected to find in a pickup used to move parts and equipment. The truck used a 6-speed manual transmission and rear-wheel drive. Independent suspension at all four corners preserved the precise handling of the M3, while the open cargo area created a completely unconventional combination. BMW never released an official 0 to 60 time for this version. Even so, with relatively low weight, a high-revving V8, and true M division tuning, it was far too fast to be treated like an ordinary service truck. Visually, it kept the aggressive front end, flared fenders, and performance wheels of the M3. Behind the cabin, however, sat a functional bed capable of carrying roughly 1,000 pounds, creating a scene that was difficult to take seriously. The vehicle was real, but only one official example was built. It was used internally by BMW's performance division, and even appeared at the Nürburgring, creating rumors about a production version that never happened. In the end, it was too strange to be considered a traditional M3, and far too sophisticated to serve as a normal pickup. Even so, it became one of BMW's most memorable, modern one-off creations. And if turning a German sports car into a cargo vehicle already seems excessive, the next machine tried to combine a pickup, convertible, hot rod, and retro performance car in one body. Chevrolet SSR. In the early 2000s, Chevrolet decided to combine four ideas in one vehicle: a pickup truck, convertible, hot rod, and sports car. Launched in 2003 in the United States, the SSR featured retro styling inspired by classic Chevrolet trucks, but its purpose was difficult to define. Early versions used a 5.3-liter, 325 cubic inch V8, producing around 300 horsepower. Later models received a 6.0-liter, 364 cubic inch V8 with up to 400 horsepower. With the more powerful engine, the SSR could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 5.3 seconds. Buyers could choose between a 4-speed automatic and a 6-speed manual transmission, both with rear-wheel drive. The front suspension was independent, while the rear used a solid axle with coil springs. This layout attempted to balance comfort, stability, and durability, but the vehicle's heavy weight limited some of its sports car character. Inside, there were only 2 seats. Behind them, a power-operated hardtop folded away to turn the SSR into a convertible, taking up space and reinforcing the feeling that the vehicle was trying to do too many things at once. The bed was small, covered by a rigid lid, and far less useful than buyers normally expect from a pickup. Its price could also approach Corvette territory, making the purchase even harder to justify. Visually, the SSR was impossible to miss, with wide fenders, a chrome grille, and rounded bodywork. But it was not practical enough to be a proper pickup, light enough to be a true sports car, or spacious enough to be a useful recreational vehicle. Less than 3 years of regular production were enough to end the experiment. Today, the SSR has collector appeal, but it is still remembered as a pickup built more to attract attention than to perform a clear function. And if that mixture of styles already seemed confusing, the next truck tried to turn its bed into a luxurious extension of the trunk. Lincoln Blackwood. In 2001, Lincoln tried to turn a pickup truck into the ultimate luxury vehicle. Built in the United States on the Ford F-150 platform, the Blackwood had seating for four, an upscale interior, and a concept that nearly eliminated the main purpose of owning a pickup. Under the hood was a 5.4-liter, 330 cubic inch V8, producing 300 horsepower and around 355 pound-feet of torque. It was paired with a 4-speed automatic transmission. The Blackwood was offered only with rear-wheel drive, which limited its usefulness in mud, snow, and difficult terrain. Independent front suspension and a solid rear axle with air springs were tuned mainly for comfort and stability. The most absurd feature was the bed. It was lined, carpeted, and protected by a power-operated hardcover, making it feel more like an oversized luxury trunk than a place for tools, lumber, and table loppers, dirt, or anything messy. Its enormous chrome grille, dark wood-look panels, and glossy finish gave the Blackwood plenty of presence. But all that luxury also made owners think twice before placing any real work-related cargo in the back. In practical terms, it was one of the least work-ready pickups ever built. Its high price, lack of four-wheel drive, and delicate cargo area drove away buyers who expected utility along with luxury. The failure was so severe that the Blackwood disappeared quickly from the American market. Today, it is rare and unusual, remembered as a truck with the size of a pickup and the personality of an executive luggage compartment. And if a carpeted truck bed already seems like the opposite of what a pickup should be, the next vehicle placed the driver almost directly over the front axle. Dodge A100 pickup. Built in the United States from 1964 to 1970, the Dodge A100 pickup looked as though it had been designed backward. Its forward control cab, completely flat front end, and nearly vertical windshield placed the driver almost directly over the front axle. Engine choices included 170 cubic inch and 225 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder engines, along with a 273 cubic inch V8. Depending on the year and configuration, output could reach around 180 horsepower. Transmission options included a 3-speed manual and a 3-speed automatic, both with rear-wheel drive. Solid axles and leaf springs kept the design simple, durable, and suitable for commercial use. The engine sat between the seats inside the cabin. This saved space in the overall body, but it reduced passenger room, increased heat, and kept mechanical noise close to the occupants at all times. The driving position was equally unusual. Sitting almost on top of the front wheels, the driver looked directly down at the road and felt bumps more intensely, while the very short front crash area offered little sense of protection. On the positive side, the layout used the truck's overall length efficiently. At around 14 feet long, the A100 offered a useful bed without taking up as much room as a conventional pickup with a similar cargo area. It was used for deliveries, repair shops, and small businesses, but it became even more famous in the custom car world. Many examples received larger engines, wide rear tires, and wild paint jobs, turning the A100 into an icon of 1960s custom culture. The A100 is valued for the same qualities that once made it seem ridiculous: strange proportions, a cramped cabin, and an engine running almost beside the occupants. But the final truck on this list went even further by stretching a Toyota Tundra into a massive limousine. Toyota Tundra limousine. To finish the list, Toyota decided to show just how far a pickup truck could be taken. Known as the Tundrazine, this creation turned a Tundra into a limousine measuring more than 26 feet long, with 8 doors and proportions close to those of a small bus. It used a 5.7-liter, 346 cubic inch V8 producing 381 horsepower and around 401 pound-feet of torque. The engine was paired with a 6-speed automatic transmission and a 4-wheel drive system. In a standard Tundra, that drivetrain delivered strong performance and useful towing capacity. In limousine form, however, the truck gained more than 2,000 pounds, while the wheelbase stretched to nearly 20 feet. The independent front suspension and solid rear axle now had to support a much longer and heavier body. Maneuvering it required extra space, careful planning in corners, and serious preparation before entering a parking lot. From the outside, it still kept the rugged front end, high stance, and basic appearance of a Tundra. Open the 8 doors, however, and passengers were greeted by a leather-lined interior, inspired by private jets and designed for first-class comfort. The cabin was enormous, but nearly all traditional pickup utility had disappeared. The truck had become too large for normal work, too difficult to park, and poorly suited for narrow streets. The Tundra was never intended for mass production. It was a show vehicle designed to attract attention and demonstrate Toyota's customization capabilities, even if that meant turning a work truck into a rolling luxury lounge. That is exactly why it takes the top spot. It still looked like a pickup, kept its large V8, and preserved some of its rugged presence, but it had lost almost everything that made a truck genuinely practical. In this list, we saw pickup trucks that tried to be station wagons, convertibles, sports cars, luxury vehicles, and even limousines. Some were fast, others were sophisticated, but nearly all of them sacrificed what matters most in a pickup: practicality, usable space, and real working ability. From small beds and exposed passenger seats to luxury interiors and gigantic bodies, these machines proved that unlimited creativity can also produce ideas that are almost impossible to defend. Now tell us in the comments, which one was the most ridiculous? Which one would you still put in your garage? And which one should never have made it past the drawing board? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. That tells YouTube this content is worth recommending, helps the channel grow, and allows more people to discover these incredible stories from the automotive world. See you in the next video.